big of a transition is this for you, or is it, and I know everyone plays 4-3 and 3-4, but just to focus on 4-3 right now?
Well, I played it before at Iowa and played it before in the NFL, so pretty comfortable with it. But the key thing for our guys now, it's a big change. They're going away from mirror stepping to attacking right now. So I got to keep reminding that we're attacking the line of scrimmage,
How
and being
hard?
in the correct stance and everything. Balls on, be on the balls of your feet, not flat-footed. So we can get it done.
Said off to a good start in terms of getting in the backfield. Would you agree?
I think the guys are off to a good start. The key thing we got to do, though, just keep emphasizing the fundamentals. Okay?
How big of a change is it for a guy, for Taradni and these guys who's on the roster? It's changed from linebacker to defensive line. Is it that big a deal, or how would you describe it?
We're still playing football.
Yeah.
So I think that's the key thing right there. Striking and getting off a block on the run game, and when a pass set, we're still rushing. The key thing is the transition from being a two-gap player, and for Taradni and those guys, is being down on the line of scrimmage and attacking from there.
With all the guys, the young guys that played last year and the guys that were redshirting, did you feel like you had the bodies to make this, that it made sense that way?
Yeah, I think we've got a good nucleus of guys to work with, and the key thing has been moving those outside linebackers down to rush in, and I think those guys are going to help us a lot, being closer to the ball. When it is a pass set, they can get after the quarterback faster.
Defoe was so good last year. Do you feel like his legacy is carried over to some of the young guys that got to be around him?
I've asked DeForest to talk to a couple of guys, do a little one-on-one talk as far as, what they need to do as far as being committed and understanding that the technique that we use is important. Defoe has done that, and I think it's going to help our guys.
Yeah. And Balducci was another guy who had a great career, maybe a little overshadowed by Defoe. How is Rex doing and some of those guys trying to replace that middle?
Alex is a guy that did a great job using up blocks for us, and we'll get the same thing from Rex, from Austin, from Gary Baker and those guys at the nose position. And going to one gap will really help them. But I've also asked Alex to talk to some guys, and those guys can really help our young guys out and give them a little encouragement. And both of those guys wish they had the opportunity to play in a one gap, but they're gone and they've graduated. So the other guys are excited about it, though.
What's the dynamic been like with Brady Hoke and all his head coaching experience and trying to focus all that on improving the defense?
I think it's been a plus. We're going to continue with Brady to feed our guys more and more every single week. And I think our guys understand the intensity that we want.
Coach, switching to a 4-3, there's a lot of debate of it, but really you had 4-3 packages before. How much difference will Duck fans see in this defense this year?
But with this 4-3 package, it's really different guys playing different positions.
Okay.
So it's going to allow us to be a little bit more aggressive.
How
And
so?
it's always, last year when we were in a certain defense that was similar to a 4-3, there was one guy that was still mirror stepping, that was playing two gaps.
Yeah.
In this scheme, everybody were attacking. The four guys up front are all attacking. Nobody is allowed to play two gap. They're playing all one gap, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Is it a more difficult or an easier alignment for the front guys to learn?
Well, it's a little bit easier for our guys to learn because everybody's attacking. Nobody is in a square stance, mirror stepping.
In terms of, you got a lot of kind of reinforcements. Guys moved from got moved up the line from linebacker. You even got an offensive lineman, Elijah George, moved over.
George.
How did all those movements come about? How did the decision come as a staff to do that?
Well, we sit down, we talk about guys, we look at the board, and, Coach Halford makes the final decision.
Elijah George, coming from the offensive line, how's he coming along? What are you seeing out of that guy so far in four practices?
He's physical, and he comes across the line of scrimmage when he's on the balls of his feet. Now, there's some other things that we got to tie in with that. The proper technique, how to use your hands, and what gap you've got.
Do you feel that you've got all the bodies and personnel you need to be a strong and off defensive line, or even perhaps better than last year?
Well, I think there's room for improvement as far as what we're doing right now. But when you compare it last year groups to this group, we've got a good group this year, but you know, we haven't replaced DeForest Buckner or Alex. So those guys are good football players, and we've got some good football players right now on the defensive line. But you know, those guys are not at that standard yet.
In terms of leadership, who are going to be the leaders on the defensive line this year?
It appears, you know, based on what guys are doing, because we're evaluating everything every single day, including who can lead us. And it appears to be that Henry Mondu is doing a good job. Okay, Rodney is stepping up and helping us. TJ Daniels has also stepped up and is doing a good job as far as leading right now and encouraging the guys. Justin Hollins has done a good job right now. He's trying to step up and be a leader. So, you know, it's one day at a time, and what we're trying to do is get the most out of them every single day. And the guys have got to realize, and they have realized this, that every day is a competition day. And so if you're not competing and running to the ball, we make changes. So that helps.
You mentioned Alex and DeForest. Is it going to be tougher to replace them physically or mentally and spiritually?
Mentally and physically. Because, you know, those guys were seasoned veterans. And, but, you know, they played in a two-gap system the majority of the time. So, you know, these guys are going to play a little bit in a one-gap system. So when you got players like DeForest Buckner and Alex Balducci, you're going to miss those guys.
You talked about what the defense does and what it allows them to do and how much more they enjoy it. What does it do to the offensive line? What do they have to deal with now? What makes it more difficult for them?
If we come across the line of scrimmage in our stance, you know, we're on the balls of our feet, we're not flat-footed, and it allows us to attack the line of scrimmage more. And we're playing a one-gap system, but we're attacking the line of scrimmage as a defensive line, and that can create havoc because the offensive lineman possibly could get knocked back if we do our job and come across the line of scrimmage.
So you're not reacting as much to what they're doing, you're making them to react to what you're doing.
Initially we're attacking the line of scrimmage, then we're reacting. That's the key.
I feel like you have the versatility you had last year with Forrest and Balducci and Talia could play different spots.
Those two names right there now are guys that were veteran players, you know. So I think we're going to have some guys step up, but you know, we're still looking for those guys right now. We know about Henry Mondu. He plays with a great motor, and so, you know, we're still trying to find guys, but DeForest and Alex, those are special guys. And we've got some guys that are going to step up, but they're not there yet.
Awesome.
Okay? All right. Okay. Thanks, sir. Ken's coming along? Okay. He's coming along? Okay. He's working.
He's working.
He's working
He's
at
getting
it. You know, with the young guys, it's always a work in progress.
Right.
And he's working.
Now, everyone said he has talent on the par of
Yep.
Buckner and Armstead. You still believe that?
Yes, he does.
He's
Yes, he does. Just like those guys, they had to put it all together.
Right.
And, you know, everyone talks about DeForest, and you talk about Alex. You got to remember that those are two special guys.